Yeah, it felt like I just wanted to get back to a club again when I was watching these scenes. Because in a pandemic, when you're watching this, it just feels so surreal to see those scenes. Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm Phil Marriott, I'm with Sean Vickers and Raj Rudolph. We are once again talking about BFI Flare, the LGBTIQ film festival in London, which is worldwide because of the pandemic, and today a film called Boy Meets Boy. Raj, this is something that you were quite keen to watch.
Yeah, from the outset, I think the trailer really interested me a lot. Looked just like a classic boy meets boy love story, and I think it quite delivered in that regard. So yeah, it was a nice slice of life. You can almost insert yourself into the film as one of the characters, whichever you identified with more, because they were a little bit opposites. But yeah, I quite liked it. I kind of makes me want to book a ticket to go hang out in Berlin.
So it's directed by Daniel Sánchez López, written by Hannah Renton and Daniel Sánchez López. It features Alexandros, Koutsoulis, I think I've got the pronunciation right. Sean, you'll probably be able to help me with that. Matthew James Morrison stars as well. Yeah, an interesting film, like you say, Raj. Two very kind of different people, but obviously attracted to each other. They've been to a club, taken a lot of substances, and they continue their date throughout the day.
Same, Raj, he did make me want to go out to Berlin and just hang out. So it sets the scene, which is Harry has been kind of past him for 2 days in this kind of club in Berlin. And he bumps into this guy called Johannes on the dance floor. Johannes has lost his wallet in the nightclub and he's kind of flailing around and it's kind of like, whatever. And they kind of get together and spend the day together. That's the premise of it, about two people that are connected through the love of clubbing and being in the same place and serendipity, and really how that unfolds through the course of a day in Berlin.
I thought it was really interesting that these were two very different guys. I mean, two very different gay guys. Obviously, they're at the same club, so obviously they got that connection there. But, I mean, their personalities were very different, and also their views on sex as well. They were very different. But it felt like they were both growing and getting to know each other. But as they were doing that, they were finding out more about themselves rather than about the other person, which I thought was really fascinating.
No, I was going to say I kind of agree. I found it like a really refreshing conversation, because it was kind of a conversation that would happen, I think, between what is frank two gay men and about their perceptions on life. And Johannes is kind of like weirdly spiritual and like there's a level of romanticism about his thinking and his logic. And Harry, who's this kind of intern doctor, is kind of, I guess, a colder reality about what it means to be a gay man today, and what and his ideas around relationships and sex.
Yeah, a bit more cynical.
I found that, and I found it. I thought it was quite refreshing as a film, because it's quite simple in its form, but yeah, I like the conversations, because they're like the conversations you have in the pub, and they felt quite real.
Yeah, it did feel very real. It felt almost like it wasn't like a rosy love story, like a lot of love stories do seem to be. I suppose more modern love stories tend not to be so much, but especially when it's reflecting the queer scene. But yeah, I felt like a fly on the wall. It was almost ad-libby. It felt very improvised, which I quite liked as well.
You know what the film reminded me of? It was so like blatant in my head when I was watching it. It reminded me of the Before Sunrise movies with Ethan Hawke, and very similar sort of ad-libby dialogue against a romantic-ish setting. A looming deadline of, someone's got to catch a flight. And I really like that. I could watch another one of these movies in 5 years and see them two get together again in the UK or Berlin. Or
definite Weekend vibes as well. Not as good as Weekend, but
definitely. That's one of my notes. That really reminded me of Weekend, just with the way it kind of unrolled and unpacked through the course of the day. Yeah, come 100%.
Didn't it feel really weird seeing club scenes as well? I mean, these were really authentic club scenes, because I think sometimes when they film in clubs, it doesn't seem real to me, but these did feel real, because I suppose in Berlin it's got that kind of grimy feel about it, kind of underground, very kind of basement, or like a warehouse club, which I think does feel more real. But yeah, it felt like I just wanted to get back to a club again when I was watching these scenes, because in a pandemic, when you're watching this, it just feels so surreal to see those scenes.
I think we all want to get back to the club again.
Yeah.
We're dying. Everyone's dying for a little bit of stimulation besides these four walls right now.
It's a funny. You're right, Philly. It's funny seeing the club scenes, and I think they did it quite well. And I think that also added to the whole. You referenced this earlier, but like it did feel ad-libbed. I said that to my husband at one point. I was like, they're just having this really free-flow conversation that doesn't feel scripted. And I don't know whether they got a lot of cues about what they need to get through in a certain scene, and the two actors were just kind of like riffing off each other. But it did feel very, very fluid.
Yeah,
the conversation.
There's a scene where they're on a bridge. They're walking across. I think it was a bridge, and somebody drives by and toots their horn, obviously because they see that they're filming. And it was obviously they still kept the cameras rolling as well. And I think he said something like, "Oh yes, we're in Berlin, we're in Germany." And I thought that was great because they didn't actually cut that; they used that scene. Just shows how fluid it was, I guess, how real it was. Very true, very true.
One of the scenes that really made me laugh was when they were in the police station and they were still quite high or coming down, and Harry, who's played by Matthew James Morrison, starts to speak in this highly affected German accent in the police station, and it really made me laugh because it reminds me of when my husband's in Ireland and tries to speak with a Gaelic accent. And there were just a few moments which were just really warm and touching, and I really enjoyed those little moments, which are almost like a little sketch. It was a little set piece, but they were nice.
I can imagine seeing this late at night, like at the weekend, say on BBC Two or something. It's like one of those, because it's not overly long either. It's about an hour and 10 minutes. I can imagine seeing it on BBC Two.
Yeah, totally.
So, star rating. I'm going to go for 3. I mean, there were issues I had about the relationship, about the conversations they were having. Sometimes I think it bordered on irritating. Because if I was there, if I was seeing that conversation, I probably would have walked away 10 minutes in. But there was something that fooled me. I was intrigued to find out how the start of that relationship was going to continue. Because it was interesting, because obviously he had to catch a flight, and I was like, oh, is he going to stay? Is he going to go?
A relationship can be 10 minutes, it can be a lifetime, and I think that was what they're trying to capture. For me, it's also a 3. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good film. I didn't know these two actors. I do now, and yeah, I thought it was really pleasant and I enjoyed it. So yeah, 3.
So Raj, for you, did it deliver what you were hoping it was going to turn out to be?
Absolutely. I'm going to give it a 4, just because I did not look at my phone once while I was watching the movie.
That's always a good sign.
And for a dialogue film, that's pretty hard. I was pretty captivated throughout. Like, I felt like I was, one of the characters. And there's one scene, well, there's 2 scenes, the bookend scenes in the bathroom have really hit home for me. I was like, oh, I've lived that scene about 100 times. So, yeah, it felt really, really personal for me. So yeah, I'll give it a 4.
Amazing. So if you want to see our full BFI Flare coverage, click on the playlist, which is on screen now, and please like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, guys.